The most advanced AI systems on Earth are being powered like it's 1985, not by futuristic energy grids or next-generation nuclear or even the clean energy deals that tend to accompany billion-dollar announcements. In at least one case, they've been powered by rows of temporary gas generators, brought in by truck, running continuously, because there was simply no other way to get enough electricity to the system in time. Something utilities and developers have quietly confirmed in multiple recent build-outs. That's not the plan. That's what happens when the system runs out of options, and it reveals something much bigger. The technology shaping the future is now constrained by something far older: electricity infrastructure. And the reason this is happening is not what most people expect. To understand it, you have to stop thinking about AI as software and start thinking about it as electricity. Because modern AI is not just computationally expensive, it is physically intensive. The chips that power it consume enormous amounts of energy, generate extreme heat, and require constant cooling, turning data centers into some of the most energy-dense buildings ever constructed, and that demand is scaling fast. Across the United States, data centers are being built at a pace that would have been difficult to justify just a few years ago, with regions like Texas and Virginia absorbing a disproportionate share of that growth. But the scale only becomes real when you translate it into something physical. A town of 10,000 people, homes, schools, hospitals, typically requires around 10 megawatts of electricity to function. A single modern AI data center campus can demand 30 times that. 30 towns effectively compressed into one location. And unlike a town, it does not sleep, it does not slow down, and it does not adjust to demand. It runs continuously. Recent energy projections and grid filings suggest that AI-driven demand is accelerating far faster than earlier forecasts anticipated. This isn't just growth. This is compression at a scale we've never seen. For a long time, none of this appeared to be a problem, because the assumption was simple. If you needed power, you connected to the grid. But that assumption only works if the grid can keep up. And increasingly, it can't. In many parts of the United States, the bottleneck is no longer generation. It's transmission, as reflected in interconnection queues and regional grid operator data. Power exists, but the system that moves it, high voltage lines, substations, and approval processes, is slow to expand, heavily regulated, and already under strain. Connection timelines that once took under 2 years are now stretching closer to 5. And in an industry moving at software speed, 5 years is not a delay. It's a dead end. Meanwhile, the backlog of projects waiting to connect has grown to levels that exceed the country's current generating capacity. The system isn't running out of power. It's running out of time. And this is the moment the system quietly breaks, because once the grid stops being a reliable path forward, the industry does not slow down. It finds another way. Increasingly, that other way means bypassing the grid altogether. Instead of waiting for power to arrive, some data centers are being built alongside their own dedicated generation, effectively creating private energy systems designed to operate independently. And despite the broader narrative around clean energy, the immediate solution is not driven by long-term ambition. It's driven by speed. Natural gas has become one of the fastest and most practical options, not because it represents the future, but because it can be deployed quickly, scaled reliably, and run continuously. And in the United States, that supply is overwhelmingly domestic. It flows from regions like the Permian Basin, the Marcellus Shale, and the Haynesville Shale, moving through an extensive pipeline network originally built for industrial demand, not clusters of energy-intensive data centers, which means the constraint is not whether the gas exists, it's whether it can be delivered, at the scale and speed these facilities now require. And in many cases, that comes down to pipeline capacity, local infrastructure, and how quickly new connections can be approved and built. But that solution introduces a new problem. The infrastructure carrying that energy was never designed for this level of concentrated, non-stop demand. And under that pressure, the system begins to behave differently. Orders are placed with unproven suppliers. Equipment is repurposed from entirely different industries. Decisions are made faster than they can be fully validated. The future is being built on infrastructure from the past. If that pressure is going to surface anywhere first, it will surface in places like Loudoun County. On the surface, it looks like a typical suburban region. But beneath that, it has become one of the most concentrated hubs of digital infrastructure in the world, with a significant share of global internet traffic passing through its network of data centers. And what happens here doesn't stay here. Regional capacity auction data and utility disclosures point to a system already under measurable strain. Power prices have surged dramatically, by more than 800% in some capacity markets. That is not a normal adjustment. That is a system under stress. Utilities are warning that future demand may exceed what can be reliably delivered, not because energy cannot be generated, but because it cannot be moved fast enough. And for the first time, the effects are spreading beyond companies, into electricity bills, into local resistance, into delayed and canceled projects. What was once hidden inside infrastructure is becoming visible, and once it becomes visible, it becomes difficult to contain. There is no single solution, which means the industry is doing something far riskier. It is betting on multiple futures at once. In the near term, natural gas is expected to hold the system together, but that raises a critical question. How long can infrastructure built for yesterday handle the demands of tomorrow? Further out, nuclear energy is being reconsidered, with renewed investment and long-term agreements signaling a shift toward more stable, continuous sources of power. But most of those systems remain years away from meaningful scale, and the demand is happening now, which leaves a third shift, one that is already beginning to take shape. Recent filings and large-scale energy agreements show technology companies locking in power at a scale rarely seen outside traditional heavy industry. They are no longer just buying energy. They are securing it, investing in generation, building integrated systems, positioning themselves inside the infrastructure they once depended on, not as an advantage, but as a requirement. At its core, this is not just a story about artificial intelligence. It is a story about limits. Because the AI industry moves at the speed of software, fast, iterative, and exponential. The energy system moves at the speed of infrastructure, slow, capital-intensive, and constrained by physics. For years, those two systems operated independently. Now they are colliding. And the outcome is not being decided in model releases or product announcements, but in transmission lines, fuel systems, permitting timelines, and the physical constraints of a system that cannot scale fast enough. Even global energy agencies are beginning to frame this as a structural challenge, not a temporary constraint. For all the talk about intelligence, the real constraint is much simpler. The future of AI is not limited by intelligence. It is limited by electricity, and right now, that limit is getting closer. Next time, the energy source the world moved away from, and why bringing it back may be far more difficult than anyone expected. They build the future. We show you what it runs on. This is Crude Reality.